Welcome to episode number 3 of Make a Move podcast. My name is Matt and I'm using this space to connect with people that inspire me and bring their stories to you guys. My today's guest is one of my best friends. She used to be a cabin crew here in Dubai just like me. She quit the job and she took a huge step out of her comfort zone into the unknown, into the uncertainty. She just went back home. She didn't have any backup plan, any backup job whatsoever. Many people might call it irresponsible or maybe even stupid, but it got her where she is now. She's now a manager of this healthy vegan restaurant concept where she creates recipes, where she works around nutrition, and she helps people to eat healthy and nutritious food. Working around healthy food and nutrition was always her dream, but she never knew how to get there. So she shares her story, how she was struggling, how she was battling her negative mindset, how she was not believing in herself. She's very open about her story, and I'm really grateful she shares all of that with us. But I talk way too much again. She will tell you her story. Let me introduce to you Sophie. Sophie, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Just for the record, we are recording this podcast long distance. Sophie is in Germany, in Stuttgart, and I'm in Dubai.
Stuttgart, yes. Yes, you did. Yeah, perfect.
We're calling through WhatsApp. We don't even see each other. We only hear each other. So let's hope it's going to work. And Sophie is my ex-colleague. I'm ex-colleague as well. We used to fly for the same airline in Dubai. So she's ex-crew. She is a vegan nutritionist. You are a manager of a vegan restaurant.
Yes, you could say that, yeah. Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, it's like a new vegan concept, yeah.
And welcome to the podcast. I'm really happy we finally managed to do it because I wanted to have a podcast with you for a long time.
Been talking about it for a long time, I know, yeah.
So where do we know each other from? Can you tell us? Can you tell everybody?
Our story, how we met. Well, I would say we met over Instagram. That was like our first... the first time we got in touch with each other, and then
I think so.
I don't know. I found your profile because I saw that you were into yoga and you were like vegan, and I thought, oh, someone like this in Dubai, this is rare, you know. So I checked you out, and then I saw that you had on your feed there were videos of that gym you were training at, and that looked exactly like the gym in my building. So I'm like, what the hell? So I guess we started texting and we figured out that we're actually neighbors. And my apartment was 18.
Yeah, we were living
one floor above each other, 1808 and 1707, I think so. And
1707, yes. Exactly.
And this is where it all started.
It's funny because we got to know each other just few months before you left Dubai, actually, right?
And then I feel like ever since our connection got even stronger, ever since I left, even though we didn't see each other as much, you know, but we still kept in touch and kept talking and then went through a lot of things together, even though we weren't really physically. And
we became best friends.
We did.
Basically, you are one of my best friends. I can say.
Mine too. So that's how we kind of met each other.
What I wanted you to share with us is why you left the job of flying. You were flying for how long, by the way?
Almost 2.5 years. Yes, I didn't manage to finish my 3-year contract, so I left a bit earlier than that. And
the reason you left was you had previous back injury that happened in the work, right?
Yes, I did. I had disc herniation, which was really bad at that point. I had to get surgery as well, so I was in a really, really bad shape and state of mind, physically, mentally. Everything was not the best. And I mean, everybody knows who's doing this job that it's quite exhausting and it's quite hard on the body. So both physically and mentally. So I just literally felt very drained after 2.5 years. So I made the decision to quit. And
so you would eventually quit the job regardless the injury, right? You didn't enjoy it anymore?
I did enjoy some parts of it. You know, it's this crazy like love-hate relationship. Like you have these amazing moments, you know, when you wake up in New York City or I don't know, on the Maldives, you know, and then you know you feel amazing and you think it's the best job in the world, and then you go back to work and then you're like, fuck, what am I doing here? And you know, like the not sleeping part and like the endless like jet lags and all these things. So at some point I decided there were also some personal reasons that gave me like the last kick, you know, but then I thought, okay, I really have to quit, you know, and do what's right for my body and for my health. And
So with the time that passed, would you say you don't regret quitting, right?
No, I don't regret. Like, I don't regret anything in my life, but no, I don't. Definitely not. Like, I really enjoyed it for the time being, and I'm really happy and grateful for all the experiences. I think we both can say that, you know, like this job brought us amazing experiences. For sure. And it got us where we are today, you know. So I'm really happy I went on this journey, and but I'm also happy I finished it at some point, and where I am right now, and I have both feet on the ground. So yes, I'm happy with that.
And how was it to quit, let's say, secure job, which was good paid, and traveling the world? Yeah. Was it difficult to leave the comfort zone?
100%, because the thing is that, you know, we all make our plans, and we all have expectations, you know, like even though we try not to, we still have them, you know, and I had like a totally different plan. Like I thought that I would, you know, save a certain amount of money, and I would have a job that I know for sure I can go to when I leave Dubai. And I also wanted to finish my contract, you know, and all these things. I had this all planned out, and then it came completely different, and I didn't have any plan of what I would be going to do, you know, like I was completely clueless. I just left. I made this like instant decision, and I literally had nothing, and I had nothing left back in Germany. Like I didn't have an apartment or like a car or like any kind of savings, like nothing really. So I just kind of took this jump into uncertainty, you know, and yeah.
I think this is the very interesting part of your story, that you really stepped into the unknown.
Yes.
And you decided kind of spontaneously. I mean, you knew at the time that you want to resign, but I remember you really took the decision, and you were like, fuck this.
Yes.
I'm just going home, without having any job at home, without having any specific plan. You just went back to live with your parents.
Yes, and also the fact that I didn't have, I didn't finish any kind of studies or any kind of education. Well, I did have my, you know, Abitur or A levels, whatever, but I didn't finish any kind of study, so I didn't have a job that I could be going back to other than like being a flight attendant, you know.
That must have been very stressful, right?
Yes, of course.
You at the time to come.
Of course, because then, you know, and also when you're doing this job, I mean, there's a very few amount of people, or like a very small amount of people that actually live to be flight attendants. Like they actually love this job, and they want this job to be their like job for the rest of their life, you know. It's a very small amount, you know. I think for the rest of us it's more like a, I don't know, like one part of a journey, you know. It's not like the real thing that you want to do, because physically and mentally it's, like I said, it's very exhausting, and nobody can do this for an extended period of time, you know. So
I mean, I personally took it like a bridge to get somewhere else.
Exactly. For example, yes, it's like more like a, you know, like something you do in between of doing something else, you know. So I didn't have any like, you know, idea of what I was going to do or what I would do with my life, like, you know, not before that, not after that. So it was very, it was kind of like took a leap.
That's very, very brave, I would say. Many people would say it's stupid.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's very brave.
Yes.
It might be stupid, might sound stupid at the time, but I mean, you wouldn't be where you are now if you didn't do the step,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So what happened after you got home? And
so yes,
you were actually at the time you were doing your studies for becoming a vegan nutritionist,
I was
right?
doing like this online course at it's like the first school or educational platform that offered this like vegan course in Germany. It's called Ecodemy, and I'm really like I really love this this school, or whatever you want to call it. It was amazing. So I really enjoyed studying this, because this is what I've been doing anyway in my free time, because I just have a passion for like, you know, nutrition and health and veganism. So I would study this anyway on my own, but this was like a more formal way, and which also gave me like a certificate at the end. So I was doing this while I was actually still in the job, because it was all online, so it wasn't an issue for me. So that's what I did, and and then I quit. And you know, when you quit your job, you also quit your life in Dubai, because there's like no staying without a job in Dubai. So I went back to Germany, and
the whole comfortable bubble.
Exactly, you have to give it up all. You know, like there's not just the job, so it's everything. You know, so I went back with my 50 kgs. You know, that's all that I had at that time. That's like all my belongings fit into 2 suitcases. So I went back to Germany, and
I remember, because I drove you to the airport.
I know. That was so sad.
And you actually kept lots of stuff with me, because you
like all the
didn't fit it into this. I remember they didn't allow you to bring more, because how they are.
Yes. And you kept like I think you still have remains of my food, that I left for you.
I think I still have, even until today. I still have some stuff from you,
God.
which is still used. That's fun.
Yeah. So
And how long ago was that?
That's now. It was October 2018.
Oh, so like 1.5 years.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
1.5 years.
Yes. 1.5 years now.
Who would have
yes,
thought?
Exactly. It's 1.5 years now, and so I moved in with my parents, and then that was it. And then I tried to figure my life out. You know, I didn't really have any kind of.
How did that work?
It worked somehow, but it was. I would be lying if I'd say that I didn't struggle. You know, like I struggled a lot. Not necessarily financially or anything.
You struggle, you mean especially mentally?
Mentally, yes, because obviously I was with my parents and stuff, and I didn't have a lot of expenses at that time. So I did some like jobs, like promotion jobs, and like all those things that I could find, you know, for the time being. But it was more the mental struggle of what I would do now, because all this time you have like this kind of like assignment or this task that you're doing. You have a job, you know, like you know your purpose kind of, and then you have to figure everything out from the start again, you know, and I don't know.
Yeah, suddenly you have lots of free time. Nobody's telling you what to do, and you have to figure out yourself. And you have to. I mean, I'm there now, so
and you want to be productive as well, and you really want to find this thing that you know want to do for the rest of your life, or that's something that you can do with all your passion, you know, and something that's like meaningful and not just something, you know, so you're doing something or you're occupied with something, you know. That's something I never really wanted to do. That's why I never finished my studies, because I never felt that this is really what I want to do and what, you know, brings me this kind of fulfillment, you know. So I think I tried a lot of different things. I tried, you know, things on social media, like with YouTube, like all these kind of things. I tried everything, you know, for myself.
Oh yeah. Sophie has a YouTube channel, by the way.
Which I'm not really active on anymore, but I just want to say that I tried a lot of couple things, you know, and a lot of different things. And but I never really had this feeling that I found what I wanted to do. Or at some points I would be so devastated. I thought that there's just no job for me, or there's like no purpose for me, you know, like I don't know what to do with my knowledge, you know. I felt that I have this kind of, that I have a passion and I have some knowledge, but I never felt that I found a way like for it to be useful, you know, or for it to be something or somewhere. So that was kind of like the struggle for the longest time, you know.
So how did you deal with it? How did you deal with all these thoughts?
I talked to you.
Going through your head?
Well, of course, like I try to talk to my friends and, you know, and talk to people who already found what they wanted to do, or for people who, or with people who I felt were at a point where I wanted to be, you know what I mean? That's what I did. And like I said, I tried to, I think this was all about finding, like now if I look back in retrospect, I think this was all about finding the trust in myself, you know, and the trust in the universe or whatever you want to call it. You know, I think looking back now, I can really say that it was all about finding this trust, because I knew I had certain abilities, you know, and I knew that I had this passion. I knew I had a lot of different ideas and stuff, you know, and probably also the potential, but I don't think that I really trusted myself enough for it to really happen, you know what I mean? Or for me to really find something. And
yeah, you were struggling to believe in yourself, to apply what you learned in like praxis and to like put the action in.
Exactly.
Because the theoretical knowledge, all of that you had, it's just, I remember that you were really struggling to believe in yourself.
Exactly, yes.
So what helped you to start believing in you?
That's an interesting question.
I mean, talking to all the people, but do you have a point in your life when you think like this was the point when I started to believe in myself? This was the point when everything shifted and suddenly the magic happened? Was it like one day you woke up and that was it? Or you think it was more gradual, that very slowly, step by step, you got where you are?
I think that if I look back now, there might have been certain days where something happened where I woke up and I felt, okay, this is like a big shift. But in that moment where you wake up and this thing happens, like you don't really feel it because it's not really true yet. You know what I mean? Like now looking back, I can say, of course, there are like a couple things, and I can also like I can also connect these dots, you know. For example, I did a lot of in a time where I did a lot of meditation and a lot of meditation focusing on, for example, bringing more abundance into my life, or like really focusing on different like certain things to happen. And I feel now that I can say that these things actually happened afterwards, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, this is crazy, you know. And then there was like the longest period where I really didn't have any kind of idea, and then very like weird things happened that brought me to very weird places and destinations in my life. And now I'm here, you know, and I'm like, how the hell? And now I feel like finally a lot of things, they fell into place, but I couldn't tell you how, like the recipe for this, you know, because I believe that everybody has their own like cookbook with like different recipes.
It's very individual.
Yes, it's very individual. But this process of like believing in yourself and trusting in yourself, I think the more you turn inwards, the more you take the time and really get in touch with what's really beneath all that, you know, like your personality and your characteristics, like what's beneath all that, you know. The more you try and get in touch with this, the more you will see the shift on the outside as well, you know, because first of all, you have to like get to know yourself before you can, you know, make the shift on the outside, or like attract these things on the outside that you're really like longing for, you know. So I guess,
it's interesting because the chapter of the book I was reading today, I'm reading a book which is called The Illusion of Money, and he was talking about the same thing. He was just saying that you need to start focusing on, like, focus all your attention inwards and focusing on all your beliefs and values. And instead of chasing goals, external goals and values, you should just focus on what you really want inside, what you really want to become as a person.
Yes.
So it just resonated with me.
100%, yes. I couldn't agree more. And I think that it's also necessary to go through all these experiences, and also go through experiences of feeling like, I don't know, like lonely, or feeling like you're losing it, or being very desperate. You know, like I think that all these phases are very important because from them you can learn, you know, and they all contribute to becoming the new version of yourself. You know what I mean? And if you never go through the pain, or if you never go through certain experiences, I feel that you cannot really know all the depths of you, you know, and it's hard for me to put into words, but I think that it's important for all of us to go through all different kinds of experiences, you know. And I also know, even though I'm at a point in my life right now where I feel like I kind of like arrived, I know that this is probably not going to stay like this forever. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure, and I'm prepared for this, that there will again be times where I'm going to be desperate, or where, things are falling out of place, only to know or to learn that they will also fall back into place, This is what life is about. It's like, it's all about this balance and about these ups and downs. And yeah.
I feel like you get to know yourself in all these downs.
Exactly.
You know how you respond to it, you know how you react to it,
yes.
how to deal with it. And every time it comes again, you know maybe tiny bit better how to react to that situation again, because you are able to be more aware of it, to observe yourself.
Exactly, yeah. And I just think that these, that especially being on, like, I would say, like, a kind of like a spiritual journey, I think it's because it's very easy for us to lose ourselves into this whole thing, and into spirituality, into, like, just being with our higher self and all these kind of things. And I personally believe that, when you go through those difficult phases, that it's just a reminder of your own humanity. We're still humans. I mean, we're humans, and we're higher, like these higher beings, and I just think that going through these, like, phases is just a reminder of that we're still human, and this is just part of the human experience on this, earth and this life. So it's something that you
definitely necessary. Because,
and it's also okay, like, you just have to accept this, and also accept when you have those phases, when you don't feel all right, or when you wake up and you feel completely, like, useless or whatever. Then it's also okay to feel like that, and I feel like the more resistance you have towards a certain experience or a certain phase in your life, the worse it gets, so I think it's very important to...
I feel like it's going to stay there until you learn the lesson.
Exactly, yes.
If you put the resistance, you're just going to prolong the time. It's going to stay there.
It's the same, I think, when you...
I mean, I learned that myself.
Yes.
So.
I think so. And I think also when you're meditating, I think this is a very nice example as well. The more you try to hold the thoughts away, or the more you try to fight the thoughts, the worse they get, And in the moment, I always have this in the moment 100%. When I do this guided meditation, in the end, they sometimes say, now just let loose and let your mind do whatever it wants to do. This is the moment where my mind is completely quiet, and I'm like, what the hell? So
it actually happened to me the last few days. I'm doing meditation with Sam Harris, and he does that in the end, he gives you 1 minute to just let your mind loose.
And it's so easy to...
And that's usually the point where I can actually be calm.
Yes, it's like all about this, acceptance, and
So and you've been vegan for how long?
Yes.
For 7, 8 years now?
8 years, I think. It's over 8 years now. It's
8
my
years,
9th year.
And what led you to become vegan?
Well, I went vegetarian 10 years ago. That was like the first, my first introduction to this whole topic. When I read this book, Eating Animals, by Jonathan Foer, I think so. And it was basically like out of ethical reasons that I, made the switch to a vegetarian diet. And then this was just my introduction. I just got more and more in touch with topics and documentaries and books on, nutrition specifically. And then at some point I just knew that, eventually I would have to make that switch, because somehow I could never ignore these kind of things, like I guess looking back now, I could say that I always had this kind of awareness, that was guiding me, and I could never ignore things. Once I knew about something, I couldn't ignore the fact, like same with like alcohol or drugs or cigarettes or something, like being aware of their of their effect. I could never really use any of these things, which is kind of crazy. So I just couldn't unsee all these things and ignore them, and and that's why I decided to make the switch. But it came gradually as well. It was like not it wasn't from one day to the other day. It came gradually, and I just like stopped eating certain things. And after a while I realized, I wasn't eating eggs for like 2 months now, so I might as well not just start again. So
was there any specific reason for you in your life why you focused yourself so much on nutrition? Studying nutrition, being into nutrition?
Yes. I don't know why. This is an interesting question. I actually never asked this myself. To me, like getting into this nutrition topic or becoming aware of all these things was kind of like my gateway to a more conscious life, I would say. Because by becoming aware of what I was eating and putting into my body, I discovered this like whole new, like a whole new universe, of what awareness or this consciousness can do with your life, And I feel that starting with my diet or nutrition and this connection, with my health and the body and my mind, like all these things, it also spread to other parts of my life, And this is, I think, why I was so fascinated by it, and because I think it's such a powerful tool, and it's something that's very accessible, because not everybody is, able to, I don't know, meditate or like bring these things into their lives. But like eating, we do, like all of us, we eat every day, like, 3 times or maybe less, maybe more. So we do these choices every day. It's something that we really have to. And I feel that this is a very accessible point in our life where we can easily make a choice, make a more conscious choice, and bring a more consciousness or awareness into our lives. And I think this is why I'm so fascinated with nutrition, and also because I think it can be our savior, it can be the thing that, gets rid of so many diseases and makes us all more healthy and live more healthy, live more peacefully, with our environment and, other beings. So I think it's a very powerful tool,
Would you say that before you were so interested in it, you were not really so conscious about what you eat, how you eat, your eating habits, what you were eating?
It's very funny, because if I think about what I was eating up until that point, I couldn't even tell you what I was having. I knew that I was having like certain things, but I couldn't tell you what I was having for breakfast, for like a typical lunch or typical dinner. I simply don't know, because I never thought about it. It was never something that was important to me or that I thought about twice, Now I could tell you what I've been eating for like the last couple of years, what my typical breakfast, my typical lunch, typical dinner would look like, typical snacks. I can tell you because I'm very aware of what I'm eating. So I think this is a very, big difference.
And you were mentioning to me when you were younger, did you have any issues with eating disorders as well?
Yes, I did. And actually, I think this is also where this awareness really helped me, because I was kind of like in this, it's not anorexia, it's called orthorexia, which is this obsessive eating disorder where you try to eat very healthy, like you try to eat like no sugars, like no carbs, like very like it's like in an obsessive way, and it was very like unhealthy for me, and I was really unhealthy at that point because I was not eating healthy, like I thought I was eating healthy, but it wasn't healthy, it was very like deficient in vitamins and nutrients, all these things, and I wasn't looking good as well, and but when I made that switch to become vegetarian and to like think about what I put into my body and what food does to my body and how it can help me and its role, it changed everything, and I realized that what I was doing to my body wasn't healthy. I was trying to be healthy, but I did the opposite, and I was really bad to my body for a long time. So this really helped me,
How old were you when this was happening?
I think this was maybe from say 13 till I was like 16, like the teenage years. And I think a lot of girls nowadays are, they have.
Was it like all connected to that you were trying to look perfect and
also,
that your body was, you were trying your body to make perfect?
Yes,
and stuff?
I was always feeling like I had too much weight or that I was like too big, because I think I have like you know, like I'm the last person who likes to talk about, you know, that, you know, about genes and that, you know, you look a certain way because of your genes or you're sick because of your genes. Like, I don't support this kind of theories, you know, but I just know that in my family, like, they're a bit heavier. Like, every girl is like a bit heavier in my family. So I also feel that I was also very heavy. And I feel that there are certain people who, for them, it's just they have a different, I forgot the word now, but they just put on weight easily.
Body type?
Yes, the body type and the metabolism. Yes, so you know, some have a more effective one, some have less effective one, and some people just put on easily weight. And I always felt that I put on weight very easily, you know, like I have to do a lot to maintain my body shape, you know. That's how I always felt, and I still kind of feel that way. But it's okay. But yeah, you were right. I was kind of like struggling with my body image for a very long time. And
so you decided to fight with it the way that you will obsessively control what you eat. Yeah?
Exactly, yes. And I would, like, you know, check my weight every day, and I would feel better if I had less, you know, weight on the scale. I would feel better, and that was not really good. Not very good.
And okay, so let's go back to your story of leaving the job, leaving the security, going to the unknown. So you got back to Germany. How long you stayed with your parents?
For a couple of months, and then I left to do some volunteer work in Sri Lanka for a couple of months, and then I came back.
Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah.
So I did this with another of our very good friends, Renee. You know him as well. We went there together to do volunteer work and a yoga retreat. Yes, I stayed there for 2 months, roughly. And
What were you doing there exactly?
I was preparing like the smoothie bowls or the breakfast for the guests in this yoga retreat. And I was doing just like, you know, whatever they needed help with, basically. And it was a really nice opportunity because I got to join all the yoga classes and experience like all the things that the guests can experience as well. So it was a cool time.
So how was that? Did it really, you feel like that helped you to figure out what you want with your life, since you still didn't really know?
Well, it did, but in a way that I didn't expect, you know, like, because again, I think I learned a lot.
That's what happens, right, in life.
I learned a lot about myself there, and again, like, I did a lot of like internal work, and also I met somebody who I spent some time with, you know, had a relationship which led me to where I'm at right now, you know. And it's really funny how this turned out, because I never thought that I would end up in Stuttgart, you know, and it's just because of this person that I ended up here, which is really funny. And I met him in Sri Lanka. So this is how like crazy, or like how crazy the universe works sometimes, you know.
This is what I always laugh at, about that we want things and we imagine them happening a certain way. Exactly. They usually happened, but exactly in the way you wouldn't even imagine.
You wouldn't even imagine, like yes, exactly. And this is exactly where the trusting...
Like, you will get what you want, but you will get it like the way that you would never have imagined.
Exactly. And this is exactly where you have to find this trust, you know. And I think if you experienced a couple of things like that, you know, it becomes easier for you to trust into, you know, the unknown or into these wild things happening to you, you know. So you're not even bothered by it anymore, you know. You're just like, okay, everything happens for a reason, you know. So
So how did it make you feel to be in Sri Lanka volunteering while still not really earning any money, since you...
It was difficult. I was struggling. Like, I think this scarcity mindset, or this issue with, you know, like with like the finances, or like always worrying about money, because if you don't have a steady income, it's like something that you worry about, you know. And
Yeah.
it never really left me, you know, like even there I was like worrying about it, which is so funny because there, on the other hand, I saw that how like less you actually need to live, you know. It's just something that our society, like especially if you like if you grow up in a country like Germany, you know, or anywhere in the Western world, it's crazy what kind of mindset, you know, you're brought up with, because we have so much, you know, like so much, like more than anybody needs, you know. And yet we think that we don't have enough, you know, like never, and it's never enough, you know.
I think this is the reason why we are like in, as you said, Germany, or even I was raised like that I think you are living constantly in fear of losing everything. That's why you constantly try to accumulate more and more.
Exactly.
And you focus your whole life around money and financial security, because that's what you've been taught since you were a young kid.
Yeah.
And the more you have, the more financial security you have, the more afraid you are of losing
because
it.
the more you have,
and
the more it
this
can,
is something that should be switched.
100%, because the more you have, the more it can be taken away from you, you know. And this is the problem that we have. And I know this, like I notice now that I'm really struggling with this kind of conditioning, you know. And it's like not my parents' fault or anyone's fault, but it's just something that you were brought up with, you know, in this kind of society. And it's something that I have to kind of like unlearn, you know. And being in Sri Lanka, where you really live with like the bare minimum, like it's so funny because Bernice and I, like, you know, we live together in this like room, but our bathroom didn't even have a door, you know. So it's like, you know, and then there
I was Skyping with you guys.
And then there's like a different part in the world, and they'd be like, oh, you have a bathroom, you know, like we don't even have a bathroom. So there's like, you know, this can be always less than that. But I feel in Sri Lanka, I really learned to live with less. And I feel that this still kind of helped me, because when I came back, I really figured that I don't need as much, you know. I don't need as many clothes. I don't need, you know, like all these things that you think that you need here, you know, and that you work yourself, that you work so much for, you know, like everybody's like going to work to like, you know. So
you can impress other people.
Exactly. Or to like, you know, pay for a house or like an apartment. You don't even have times where you don't even have the time to spend, you know, in it. So which is this is like, this is really, really crazy.
Yeah. Are you doing anything specific now to get over this mindset, to get rid of these beliefs?
I am, in a way that I really focus my meditations on this, because I just know that this is a weakness I have, or I don't want to call it weakness. It's just one of the things that, you know, I've been brought up with, and it's part of my it's just something that my brain knows, you know, and I just have to kind of like get this out of my subconscious mind. And I try to do this with like meditations, you know, that I focus on this, and I try to imagine myself not having these worries and how it feels to live in abundance, you know. And I think that I've been kind of successful with this, because I definitely feel that this has become less, you know. And also I feel like when you once were at the bottom, you know, when you once were like really like with nothing, you know, or with like very less, you're not so scared anymore, because especially if you're in a country like this, you know that you cannot really fall very far, you know. There's always somebody to catch you, you know, and there's like no need to be so stressed about all these things. And yeah.
So you got back, you went to Stuttgart, and then you found a new job, right?
I found a new job, which is really crazy because this is something I never planned, you know, like I never really planned this. And I thought that there was no job for me in this world, you know, like I was actually convinced. I thought, okay, I have to do like I have to create my own job basically, you know, and I thought that there would not be like a job for me.
I think there was this kind of belief, which I think I have to overcome as well, because when you finish this corporate job, flying for an airline and saying you don't want to work for anyone anymore, I think you were saying the same, right?
Yes, exactly.
You were trying really hard to create something on your own, And I think you were really battling that you were at that point not really able to create anything with a sustainable income.
Exactly, yeah.
So you were refusing maybe to accept any other job working for anybody else. But then in the end, this was the thing that happened, and you are where you are, and you are happy, right?
I am very happy, yes. But also I know that the job is not what brought me happiness, you know. It's like the happiness that is always found in, like, on the inside, you know. And I'm as happy as I was before, you know. Like, when you really are in the moment, you know, in the moment where you feel this happiness, you know that this is not because of a job or because of another person, you know. It's all coming from you, you know. So this is something that I understand by now. But of course, when it comes to, like, you know, feeling that I found a way to put my passion or to put my knowledge into, you know, or to be of service to other people, this is something that I always wanted, you know, my job to be, that I could feel useful and I could, you know, contribute to the society, or to, like, you know, to help others, basically, you know. And it's, I feel I can do this now with, like, you know, basically helping people to, like, have good and healthy food, you know, vegan food, and spread this, like, vegan message.
Yeah, you are. Yes. You are doing it. You're literally doing what you wanted to do.
Yes,
just
I did.
Maybe again in a very different way than you imagined.
Know, and this is definitely not a coincidence.
So you are now manager of,
like, I'm a, like, store manager basically of this. It's called Juicery. It's in Stuttgart. It's a very it's a vegan restaurant concept where you create your own bowls, basically. And we do, like, smoothie bowls and, like, you know, all these, like, healthy things. And it's a very cool, nice, and trendy place, you know. Even though I don't want to say trendy, because I don't think this is a trend, you know. It's nice, you know. It's a
I've seen pictures. Yes. I haven't been there yet, but I've seen pictures. Hopefully it looks really nice. Yes. And you already creating recipes for the place as well?
Yes, well, I try to, like, kind of, you know, optimize the recipes, and always try to really make them healthy as well, you know, make them nutritious. And because we all know that vegan food isn't necessarily healthy, you know, and the company's name is, like, The Healthy Secret. So I feel that, you know, I want to, like, make sure that this is always true, you know. So and this is just one of my passions, you know, to, like, create recipes and to, like, you know, make good vegan and nutritious food. So this is one of the...
And you are really good at it. I mean, I ate your food and I know how good it is.
So this is amazing for me that I have this kind of, like, opportunity now to really put my ideas, you know, there, and and also put them into...
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
So that's really nice. I'm really happy, really grateful for this opportunity as well. And I don't think this was a coincidence, you know. I think that if you really like focus on one thing, eventually, you know, it will appear, you know, in one or the other way.
Probably very different way than you imagined, but it will.
Yes, exactly. It's for all of us.
And you didn't come there and you didn't become manager instantly. So you came there and you became just a regular staff.
Exactly.
There,
I
right?
was just looking for a job for like a part-time job, you know, to to just work for 6 months, because actually I was planning on going on traveling again this year. And so I was just looking for kind of like a side job, you know, and I wanted to do this in a vegan place, because I thought if I work, like, you know, in a restaurant, I want it to be like a vegan place, you know. So I checked on Happy Cow, which is like my favorite app to check for vegan restaurants all around the world. I checked, and this was like the first thing that popped up. So I just sent like an application and I started working there part-time, and then like one thing led to another thing, and I felt that I really fit in there well, and they kind of like, you know, were looking for someone like me, and I was looking for someone like them, and then it just like matched, you know, and all of a sudden I'm kind of like part of this amazing team and this amazing family. So yeah.
That's amazing. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
because I know how much you went through, and I know how much you were struggling internally, trying to find what to do.
Exactly.
And look at you now.
Yes, really happy about that.
What kind of visions or goals you have for the future?
Kind of vision and goals. That's an interesting question. I think about this a lot, and I don't know. I think do you mean like personally or like with a job, or what do you mean?
Let's start with the job. Like, where do you see yourself, or do you have any specific vision or a goal to achieve in the future?
I would love to, like, you know, be part of this amazing company, and you know, and I think that it has a really bright future ahead of them. They have a really bright future ahead of them. And I hope that we will have like a lot of stores everywhere, maybe even in Dubai. Let's see. And I really hope that I can contribute to this in the future as well, and just like bring in all my ideas and, you know, support them in any way I can, and to make this big, you know, just not because I, you know, want to earn a lot of money with that, but because I really want to see an alternative to all these like fast food places and all these horrible places with horrible food, you know, which contribute to the, you know, people getting sick and dying of like all these diseases, you know. So I really want to, hope I can be part of this, like, you know, what you call it, like a good alternative for this, you know, because I feel it's like the era of fast food and all these things is coming to an end now. And so this is what I, you know, really... I
mean, there can be fast food and fast food, right? Like, can be healthy fast food as well.
Exactly.
The food can be done fast, but can be also healthy.
Exactly, 100%. I'm just talking about, like, you know, healthy food and helping people to become their best version, to be healthy and to live a long and healthy life, you know, and not the opposite. So that's what I see when it comes to my, you know, in regards to the job. And for me personally,
I feel like it really is your purpose in life, because you've been doing it for a long time already, that you're spreading awareness when it comes to nutrition and healthy eating and healthy lifestyle in general. I mean, we did together the healthy I always forget the name of it.
Mindful living workshop. Yes.
Mindful living workshop in August, right? Last year, when I came to Germany, me, you and Rene, we were hosting a workshop for how many we had? 18, 17 people
that was
turned up.
So
and
beautiful.
We just did it in a park, meditation, movement, yoga. And in the end, you were sharing your vegan food that you made and a little vegan talk. And I think that was amazing. And it really resonated with people.
Yes, 100%. So that's why I hope, like, it doesn't really matter what kind of shape, you know, what you really do. I just think that the intention is so important, you know. And my intention is really to, like, kind of spread this awareness and this kind of message, you know, in any way possible. And if it's now with this job, that's amazing, because it's just like on a larger scale. But if it's, you know, just me, that's also okay, you know, like just really being the change that you want to see. I know this, like, people say this over and over again, but this is where it all starts, you know. It all starts with yourself. And
but it really is true,
you know, you see, like, you slowly see the outer world changing and adapting to that as well. So that's all I want to, like, where I want to put my focus on, you know.
You want to be an example for what you want to see in the world.
Yes, 100%, because I think this is where it all starts, you know. You have to become the change first, you know, in order to see it in the outer world, you know. And this is really what I want to focus on, you know. I always want to work on myself and, you know, and do a lot of inner work and all these things, and then I will see the results in the outer world, you know. And this is, I'm really excited for this. I think
you're doing it already. You are doing it.
We are all doing it. You are doing it as well. Amazing, you know, with your podcast and all the things that you're doing now. Like, you're one of the people I look up to most, you know. And it's been like this from the very start.
Vice versa.
You know, and it's so beautiful to see how also, like, these kind of friendships and interactions and connections, you know, how they help you grow, and, you know, it's just amazing. So thank you for that.
And thank you. There is one personal goal that you've been talking about for some time, but you haven't done it yet.
I knew it.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
So what's that?
Yes, I've been.
What's coming from you? What's 100% gonna come in the near future?
Oh my God,
if you want it or
I
not?
knew this. Yeah, well, I've been wanting to write my ebook, or an ebook with my recipes and just some maybe nutrition advice, some nutrition guide with my favorite recipes that I created over the past 8 years, I would say. And yeah, you're right. I should really I should really sit down and just do it. But of course, even though I'm on this,
it's not you should. You are about to do it.
I'm going to. Now that I'm saying it here, I have to, But of course, I still also have my doubts, and I also have my, struggles, where I feel is there even somebody who would, like to read this, or is there even anybody who's interested in this, So of course, I have my self-doubt phases as well. So yeah, it's just another obstacle I have to overcome, and just sit down and just do it, and like you always say, just do it for yourself, do it for you, for example,
And where can everybody find you, by the way? You have your own website.
I have my own website, which is the same as my Instagram account. Instagram is I'm not very active at the moment because I've been really, really busy at work. Which is Feel Plantastic. It's been like this for 8 years. Yeah, this is
That's
where
your website as well?
Yes, feelplantastic.com as well. Same as the Instagram, basically. This is where you can reach me. I'm also always happy to answer any DMs or whatever on nutrition questions. And I've been thinking about doing some free coaching as well, if anybody's interested. Just because I have time now, since all restaurants are closed at the moment, because of this thing that's going on in the world. So I have some time now.
Yeah, Sophie has time, so definitely hit her up with some messages about any nutritional advice, anything, any questions about veganism, right?
Yes, 100%.
She's the person you should turn out to. I made a video with you talking about vegan nutrition. I'm going to put the link down below.
Yes.
And you can definitely find some answers for basic questions about veganism and vegan nutrition. And what's your YouTube channel, by the way?
Same, Feel Plantastic. All Feel Plantastic.
You have your own merch, by the way, as well, right?
Yes, but it's not really finished yet. It's
it's not on yet. Okay.
Yes, it's under construction.
Okay, if it's going to be finished, we will find it on your website and your Instagram, I guess.
Exactly, 100%.
Once you start being active again. And very important question for you.
Uh-oh.
Are you happy right now?
I am, yes, 100%. I'm smiling this whole time. So funny, I'm really enjoying this. And yeah. No, I'm happy. Yes, 100%.
In this time of life, you are happy, yeah? You are in a place where you can say that you are happy.
Oh, yes, 100%. I think there's no such thing as being in a place where you're happy. I think there's just, if you're fully in the moment, if you're 100% here, you can always find your happiness. Happiness is always there, it's always waiting for you there. It's just a matter of the question is just if you're in that moment or if you're not here, if you're spending your time in the past or in the future, That's just a question. And I can always say that whenever I'm really here, when I'm 100% in the moment, I'm happy, So it's just, this is just what I'm working on, trying to spend more time in the here and now, And and this is where happiness finds you, or you find happiness, either way.
Very nicely said. And one last question for you.
Okay.
How would you like to be remembered?
Oh, that one I didn't expect. By who?
By everybody, by the world.
By the world. I guess I just want to be remembered as someone who's, kind and compassionate. I think these are two very important things for me, kindness and compassion. And if I'm remembered in that way, then I think I've done a good job, you know, as a human being. So, yeah.
You did, for sure. And I want to acknowledge you for everything you did, because we've known each other for 1.5 years now. Something more than that, but
longer.
Since the beginning.
It must be longer.
Is it 2 years now? I don't even know. I lost the count.
Time is an illusion anyway, right?
Time is an illusion, exactly. But it's interesting because since we knew each other since the beginning, we became really good friends. Yes. We really clicked, and you've been always the kindest and the nicest person. And you always gave me the best advices, and you always listened to me, and I just admire you for your whole journey, for everything you went through, and where you came now.
Shut up.
It's just, I think it's very inspirational, because you quit stable, semi-stable, let's call it stable job, secure job with good money, and you went completely into the unknown, and you traveled the world, and you were trying to figure out yourself. You were constantly working on yourself, and I think it's very admirable, and I think you should be proud of yourself, because I am proud of you.
Thank you so
very
much. Oh my God, I'm almost tearing up here. Fuck. Oh.
And I just want to thank you for always being there for me, because you been there in my lowest, and you always listen to me, and you always very open and always happy to give me advices, and maybe just to listen. That's something very important that I really, really appreciate.
Oh my God. I don't even know what to say, man. Oh, fuck. Oh,
you don't have to say anything. I'm
you're
just
so welcome. Yeah, but
really
it's just
grateful for having you as my friend.
One thing I want to say is that, you know, whenever you or anybody else, like, you know, whenever you see a person, like, you just, you know, how you see me, it's like, it's just a reflection of yourself, you know. And this is the amazing part, you know, because all these amazing things that you see in me, you actually see in yourself, you know. And this is like the most beautiful thing, and of course I see them in you too, you know. So this is just so nice. Thank you so much, I swear. Oh my God.
No, I want to thank you for taking your time. It's been a little bit challenging because we cannot really see each other. There is a little bit delay in talking.
I hope this turns out.
It's been a little bit of challenge, but
yeah, I hope this turns out in a nice way.
I hope too. And I think we managed pretty well. And it's been 1 hour. I wouldn't even say.
Yes, probably
exactly
like
1 hour.
1 hour. Yes.
And yeah, I think that's all for now. And I just want to thank you for your time and for
thank you for your time.
And
I'm really I feel actually really, really honored to appear on your podcast, because I think like the first 2 episodes, like you had 2 very, very inspiring and amazing women there. So I feel really honored to be there as well.
Now I have the third one.
And I can't really, I can't wait for like, you know, the next episodes and to see what you're going to be up to, you know. And I think we can expect amazing things from you as well. Like I'm 100%, you know, sure. Like I know this, and you know, I know, because I've been telling you for like the longest time, you know, that we're gonna see amazing things.
Yeah, I know.
Things always. From you. And one day I can tell you I told you so. One day. So,
still waiting for that day.
Yeah, let's see.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
and
much.
That's it. Yep. And this is it. I really hope you enjoyed Sophie's story, and I hope it gave you some hope in this time of uncertainty. If you like it, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Share it on your social media. You can tag me at @MattBendig. You can tag Sophie at @FeelPlantastic. And remember, wherever you are and whatever you do, you can always make a move to become a better version of yourself.